Oh, hello. Good morning. Good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to Art School Live. I'm Deborah Hughes. I'm here in California, and I'm standing in for Eric Rhodes, who is away this week. And I have a guest artist today named Ann Larsen. And I want to tell you a little bit about Ann. She's a signature member of Oil Painters America, signature member of the American Impressionist Society, and she went to RISD. She went to a college in Indiana, where so another fellow Hoosier today, like that. And so I want to welcome you, Ann. Welcome.
Thank you.
What are you going to do today?
I'm going to talk about color temperature and the importance of the not just value, but the temperature of the color.
Oh, that sounds so interesting. It's a new take. I like that. Okay, well, let's get to it.
Okay.
So we have some beautiful paintings of Ann's to show you right now. This is probably up near Rockport area. She paints all over the place, though. Beautiful light and color in this beautiful little barn. And this is my fave, of course, because it's a boat. Very strong work, very beautiful, and very emotional and romantic. I just love the color and the designs. Just beautiful. They're very excited. Oh, this is one of my favorites, Anne. Oh, I love this one with the snow and the river. Actually, this is one I have saved in my personal file to inspire me. So there you go. It's
Well,
awesome.
thank you.
Yeah. So welcome. Let's get started and tell us all about it.
Okay. I don't know. There. Can everybody see that? I hope.
Oh, it looks good. Really good.
Okay. So I started out with. She doesn't have the thing up the photograph up there, but I started out with a photograph. Although this is a subject I've painted a lot. Over in Rockport, Mass. These are the old lobster sheds.
Oh, cool.
And then I've done a few other paintings of them over the years. This morning, I just kind of did a little quick sketch here to show you the color palette I'm probably going to use.
Gorgeous.
So I pre-drew on here just to make it a little easier. But I'm going to do work with blue, orange, and green, keeping the palette simple, and show you how you can warm up and cool those colors as you paint. So
are you telling me you're only using blue, orange, and green, or those colors along with other colors?
I'm only using those, but
wow.
But orange can lean more red, it can lean more yellow. The same thing with blue. So every color can have a warm side and a cool side. And then you mix within those colors and you end up with these nice colorful grays, which also can lean warm or cool. So I'm going to start out with my warmest warms and just get some paint on here. Very thinly to start. And then I will take a little bit of the green color. Which again, thin.
Interesting. So in the photo, the building is kind of brown and the ground is kind of gray, and the white house, the White Lobster house to the right. And you've got all these interesting starting colors. I love this.
Yeah, I try to not like I think I gave her the color photograph, but I usually turn those photographs to black and white. I'm going to start with a little bit of the darker colors now. I usually turn them to black and white so that I'm not influenced by the color. I'm only influenced by the value.
Neat. Okay.
Okay. So the sun is coming from this direction, from the left. So I want to get a warmer color there. I also need to have a little bit of a blue. Kind of cool it just a hair.
So, Anne, at this point, it looks like you're doing kind of a lot of pushing the paint around, rather a scrubbing motion. Is that right?
Right, because I'm trying to keep it as thin as I possibly can at this point. I work from the thinner paint, excuse me, to the thicker paint. So the roof on the building is darker in the photograph, but it is being influenced by the sky. So it's going to have a warmer feel to it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say cooler. So there you go.
Well, it depends, if the sun is out, it's going to have a little bit of a warmer feel. At least that's my impression.
So there some questions about your colors, of course.
Mm-hmm.
If you could give us a few insights on what exact colors, not necessarily brands, but just colors that you're using.
Well, I normally use, I'm sorry. I normally use a warm and cool of each primary and white. Oh. But I do occasionally throw in some tube greens, a few. And occasionally I'll throw in an outlier like a phthalo blue or
oh my God. Oh, you're brave. But say, for instance, on the blues, what two blues would you like to use in general?
In this, well, I use a cobalt blue and an ultramarine blue. And a lot of times it's an ultramarine deep because it has, I believe, a little more red in it. I would have to look that up, but I think that's what it is. So I will use those.
And then two reds?
The reds are usually either an alizarin permanent, which I have not been able to get that anymore because the company changed the formula and I don't like it that much. So I've been using either a quinacridone rose or a magenta or something along those lines, which make beautiful oranges.
They do.
And then I use a cad yellow medium and a cad lemon.
Great. That cad lemon with the quinacridone makes killer oranges. Beautiful.
So over here, so because this, there actually are, that you can't see, there are buildings over here to the left, and they're throwing shadows across the bottom here. So we're going to do a little bit of a shadow there. And a lot of times I like to just kind of wipe it in a little bit just to kind of pick up some of that white of the canvas underneath.
Mm-hmm. So are you using a medium at all, or is that just Gamsol?
I'm using Gamsol. That's really all I use most of the time.
And you tinted your canvas ahead of time?
I don't know. Well, sometimes I do. This ended up being a little tinted because I use the oxide red, transparent oxide red to draw on. And I probably wiped it off at least once. And so
well, that's good to know.
Yeah. That one, I do use others to draw on with, but that one seems to be the easiest to get off if you need to, you need to change something. So, all right. So this is something too. If you notice, the paintings that people love the most when they go to a museum or whatever, generally has to do with the design of it, the strength of the composition. But a lot of times it has to do with the fact that you're having all this beautiful color, temperature color. And you will notice sometimes that a form gets turned with just a temperature as opposed to a value. I mean, there is a value to it, but the reason I say that, and this is pretty close, is this would be a cooler yellow here to this warm. And if you were to turn this black and white, you would see that the value is extremely close. And when you're working in shadows, especially, and you want to bring in color, and you don't want to, obstruct the shadow, because it's you got to keep it a shadow, but yet you want some warm or cool in there. You can do that with the value, the temperature change. As you can see, I just did in here for the sake of argument. You can see that. And
Yeah.
again,
So you're
if you turn that shadow to black and white, you will see that it's very, very close values.
That's key for holding together the area, the shadow area, or the shape.
Cool. For sure. So one of the things I probably can see in the photograph is this door is actually a blue. Whoops. Here, a problem with the tripod. It's actually blue here. So I'm just trying to fill in some of the areas to get the value and the temperature right. Now these dories, which are iconic boats over along the coast, tend to have this. I'm sure they didn't all, but the ones I've been looking at lately have this very warm yellow to them.
That's gorgeous.
So now you can see,
that's not in the photo. So you're taking the liberty.
No, that's not in the photos.
Perfect. Because it adds so much character.
I tend to work more intuitively when I'm painting, especially in the studio, but I'm trying to do it more outside too. Because we're creators, we're not copiers, right?
That's right. Thank you for saying that. And you're such a creator. I mean, I really admire your work so much. And you go out on location, you take something that looks so simple and quiet, and you turn it into something so dramatic and exciting.
Oh, thank you, Deborah.
You do. I love it.
Sometimes it's intentional.
Well, it's so strong. And you like to have a lot of contrast. I love the contrast in your paintings.
Yeah,
Can you talk about that a little?
Pardon?
Can you talk about
contrast? Yeah, I mean, I think, again, the paintings that entice me the most are the ones that do have a lot of contrast. I especially love, I love a lot of the more contemporary Ukrainian and Russian painters, because their work is just incredible to me, and a lot of contrast. But also, I love Soroy's paintings. The contrast in his paintings are just amazing. And the color. If you look at his paintings, it's color.
I'm going to go back and look at his paintings now and look for the contrast. I've always admired the color, but I hadn't really noticed about the contrast. And now,
well, you know what's great about technology today, and I have my students do this all the time, and you probably do too, Deborah, is to have them turn their paintings as they're working on them, use their phone or iPad or whatever, turn them to black and white so they can determine if the contrast is working, if the values are working. It makes a big difference.
That's great advice.
Works for me anyway.
So do you believe in a focal point, or how do you like to work as far as that goes?
I like to think of one particular area in the painting as, as a focal point. But sometimes that doesn't develop until towards the end of the painting. I mean, I can usually tell from the beginning if the painting's going to work. I mean, that was something I couldn't do years ago, but I can now. and most of the time anyway. And I will say, okay, this is going to work, and where's the focal point going to be? And at some point, I start thinking more about it.
Look at that stroke you just put on there.
That's a chimney.
Oh, so powerful. Just one in. You're one and done. That's so cool.
Sometimes. It's an interesting, I think probably the photograph maybe, I haven't been over there in a while. It's probably a little dark, but that's okay.
I just want to mention too about you adding that foreground shadow. If you look at the original photo, it's all sun in the foreground, and that makes for a pretty boring entry into a painting. So a lot of times artists will use that technique of adding that shadow to bring you out of the shadow and into the sunlight.
Exactly. There is a window there. Let's see, this roof up here. I find that if I get too wedded to the image and the color in the image, as a lot of us know, when we get done and we go, oh no, that didn't work, because you're trying to work with a photograph, which inherently lies to us about color and value, and so that's one reason that you say, okay, the building is green, but let's make it this green, not that green. And working that way.
Or make it red. Who cares?
Or make it red. Exactly. Whatever color works.
Yeah, I want to make a comment about that little window you put in there. The one on the yellow sunlit side. So the window is in the sunlit side, and often people put those windows in really dark, and you are smart enough to know that in the sunlight, that window will be light, and it just shows the beauty of the sunlight on the side of that building. That simple stroke.
That's very true, Deborah. It's a good observation, and I learned that from our dear friend Randy Sexton.
Oh my gosh!
Originally,
he's taught a lot of people a lot of things. Bless his heart.
Oh, didn't he though?
Yeah.
And not only that, but Emil Gruppe, who some of you may or may not know who he was. He was a very famous Cape Ann in Massachusetts, North Shore, Boston painter. And in his book on color, he talks about that, about the windows in sunlight generally are lighter than you think they are.
Way lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that book. Everybody should look up Emil Gruppe, Gruppe.
Yeah. There's, I think most of those books may still be in print. For a while they weren't. There's one on color composition, one on composition, one on brushwork, and they're all excellent.
Also, check out Randy Sexton's website.
Oh, yeah.
He's gone to heaven, and we'll always miss him, but he has beautiful work to inspire, and his website is very active still.
Yes.
That's cool.
For sure. Okay, so let's see. Because we're getting a little bit of the sunlight coming down here, we'll warm this up in a few spots. Now the building, there is a building right here in that photograph, and I could have left that out. I could have moved this and changed it, but I think it needed a 3. It needed something else there. So that's the reason I left it in. Let's see what color we want that to be. I think I had it darker originally.
So there were a few questions online.
Okay.
One is we already talked about this. You're mostly thinning with a little Gamsol, but not too much. You don't want it to be runny. And then you're hopefully maybe when you're done, you can post your picture, your finished little demo along with that, the original photo, so people can compare and see all the beautiful changes that you made.
You mean this little demo here?
Oh, or all 3. Actually, the actual original photo is hard for us to see. It's kind of small. So maybe post that next time. Yeah.
Oh, the one that's down in the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's on my computer, my desk computer.
Everyone loves your colors and how you're taking such a flat and kind of boring painting and making it so bold and strong and exciting.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
It's always fun to do these things because I never really know how they're going to come out until the end. But that's part of the fun.
It is.
One of the things when I teach, I talk about is being bold and fearless because it's always funny to me that artists come into workshops and they're so fearful.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing in our life we should never be fearful about is painting.
Yeah.
But yet everybody's afraid.
That's so true. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. It's interesting, but I'm thinking this probably needs to be a little lighter.
Really? Why are you thinking that? Tell us. It's getting a little bit of light.
Yeah, it actually has more light than, in the photograph. In reality, it probably has a lot more light than what I'm seeing in the photograph. But I need to keep it cooler, which I'm trying to do here.
Mm-hmm.
And this may warm up even a little more, but okay, so let's see. So even though I'm working, I do have a palette of color here. I am working a little bit with the paints that are on my palette as well, not just the piles of paint that I've started with.
Oh, you're sneaking some new colors in, are you?
No, they're the same colors.
Okay.
I'm just adding them, creating a little bit different color or different value. Sometimes I have to get back a little bit to see what's going on. So one thing I learned the other day too, I'm going to mix up this sky color now. And I'm going to take white and I'm going to take my ultramarine blue. And this is where I get sneaky with my little green that I stick in there. I'm going to stick a little tiny bit of Viridian Hue, which really sort of takes the place of phthalo green.
Oh, Viridian Hue. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. It's just as intense, but it kind of knocks down the blue a little bit. I know a lot of people will use, and I do occasionally use the cerulean blue hue, which has green in it as well. But
it's kind of interesting in California. I see pink in the sky here all the time.
Yeah, yeah. And there is. I mean, even here, when you can get away from the trees, yeah, you will. It depends, time of day, weather. I think the thing that the first time I came to California to paint, the thing that struck me was how different the color of the water is compared to the East Coast because of the, minerals or whatever it is that's in water. It's just so beautiful.
I mean, it's more colorful, or what do you mean?
It's just a different color. It has more of a azure, tealy green in it, where the Northeast had, because there's so many organics in the water here, it looks, greenish and, those rich brown colors.
Yeah, tea color.
And a lot of times, as painters, notice that the water will look purple, very purpley.
Right.
And it's a tough color to capture.
It is.
Yeah, it really is. And but it's a great color. So
it sure is. It's funny because a lot of times the colors here go from almost a viridian-ish color into a blue, into a purple, and then into a gray. So it's a really nice variety of color.
So there is a rooftop behind this. Probably can't really see it in the photograph, but there are buildings back there, and so
So you want to give it more depth by adding that and not leaving it out.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. So
Very exciting.
Once I can get this all more or less covered, one thing you want to try to do is cover up all that white, because white's a color and white's a cold color in this, case in particular.
Yes.
And as long as it's on there, you're not going to be able to judge your values of your color very well.
Right. Another good reason to cover up everything quickly and then start to figure out what you want to do, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Can the sky color warmth differentiate the time of day in a painting?
Yes. Yes. This probably is maybe, I don't know, 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not, it might even be earlier. Unfortunately, I tend to stick to the middle of the day, which is terrible.
Oh, so if you were painting that at sunrise or sunset, which is kind of what this question was, I didn't phrase it very well. Would you change the color of the sky to be a little bit more
Absolutely.
warm?
Yeah. Yeah. The sky, if you go outside and you observe the sky on a sunny day, if you're looking into the sun, the sky is going to be it's going to be a lot paler.
Right.
If you're looking to, put the sun behind you, the sky is going to have much more intense blue. And it also, as the day goes on, you will notice that the sky really starts to have a variegation to it from the horizon to, the what's over you, the dome of the sky. And sometimes here, I don't know if this happens in the West, or in California, but when you look into I think it's because of the atmosphere, you'll have almost looks like this pinky purple kind of hazy look to the sky at times, over the blue. Right. It's really interesting. I mean, you see that too, Deborah?
That's what I was talking about. I see a pinkish haze on top of the blue when I look to the sky. Look at all that pink. It's just sitting on top. So weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
I think that's atmosphere, to tell you the truth. I mean, I'm not a meteorologist, so but I think that's what it is.
Well, whatever it is, it's beautiful.
It is. It is beautiful.
Hey, would you mind if I give something away?
Go right ahead. You giving it to me?
Okay. Now, let's see. Here I am. I'm looking for sure. Oh, yes. Okay. So they're so kind to let me give away one of my design finders today and yesterday and the day before. So this is a cool little product that just helps you capture all those buildings and things like that in a more easy manner. If you have trouble drawing, it just gets the basics down for you, helps you find your focal point and stuff. So you just look through it to draw it on your canvas. It makes it just a lot easier. And our winner from yesterday was Neil McMillan from Conway, South Carolina. Congratulations, Neil. I'll be sending one of those out to you with the special pen. And so be sure and sign, put your name in the chat and where you're from. And we love all your comments too. So we're trying to keep an eye on that and keep you informed. So carry on, Ann. Thank you.
Okay. So this door still isn't. Okay, I'm going to deviate here because I don't like the way that door is coming out. So I'm going to add just a tiny bit of turquoise. Now this may not work, but we'll give it a try, just to kind of get the door to pop out a little more.
Yeah, you're using those complementary colors and having fun with that. So that really worked well, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I can just feel the old peeling paint on that door.
You've seen this building. Do you remember?
It's so cool. Everything is so gnarly, and there's traps and lobster traps and ladders and oh my stuff, buoys, everything all over the place.
Oh yeah. And the lobstermen are very interesting to talk to.
They are. They're all so friendly and so opinionated too. It's pretty fun.
Yep. They are fun to talk to.
They are. God, they work so hard. I really appreciate everything that they do.
I know.
Their whole lifestyle is really fun for us to capture, but boy, it's a hard life.
It is. And
it's better than sitting in a cubicle, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. They probably couldn't survive doing that.
No.
But if you really get them engaged, boy, they'll tell you about the dyeing industry.
Yeah, I film them a lot of times, so because I think it's fascinating to hear what they have to say.
Yep.
So you do just some beautiful brushwork. It's very free, and like you're not too worried about anything, and it's very confident and light touch, and just love it.
Well, thank you. As we know, it's practice, 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 right?
And no fussing. You don't want to fuss on it too much. You want to get it in there and try to leave it alone, right?
Yep. And one thing that does help you with that is as you're painting, whether you're outside or inside, is to walk back away from your painting as much as you possibly can. I mean, I forget sometimes, but it really does make a difference because the painting looks entirely different when you walk back away from it.
Yeah, kind of get a fresh eye on it,
Yeah.
Then you realize, oh, that building is really too bright or too dark or too crooked or something.
Yeah, for sure.
It's better when it's crooked anyways.
Yeah. Or use a mirror to especially if you're in your studio, to use a mirror because it'll immediately point out what's wrong.
That's right. It's funny how that works, isn't it? It stands out.
Yeah.
Really obvious. Do you often put figures in your painting? I don't think you do you?
I don't, but I've started doing it. It's something that I have to practice that I haven't done for years.
Mm-hmm.
And before I feel confident enough to actually stick them in there, I have to work on it.
You have about 15 minutes or so.
Yeah. Okay. So the one thing I'll do here, since I only have a few minutes left, is I'll start to build up the paint and make it a little thicker.
Whoa.
In the light areas, because your lightest lights are going to have the thickest paint.
So do you mix the paint up with your brush and then just load the brush up by scooping up the paint and then laying it on, or how do you like to do it?
I do. Mm-hmm. I learned a lot of the technique that I use from Skip Whitcomb. I don't know if anybody knows who he is.
He's fantastic. You have to look him up too.
He is marvelous. I don't know that he's been teaching through that Tucson Art Academy,
right?
But I don't think he teaches, in the field anymore.
He's with the Plein Air Painters of America.
Yes.
And he is such a charming, wonderful human being and a great painter. That's for sure.
He is. He really is.
Catherine Hawking says the colors Anna's using is making the painting look old, and that it's very cool.
Well, thank you. I do try to do that a little bit just to honor the area. There are some palettes. This is something that's kind of enticed me with this painting from the beginning. There are this palette thing sitting there against this area, and I just kind of like that. That's probably not quite light enough, but you can stick some shadow in there with it.
I always have a tendency to want to put buoys and stuff in places like this.
Yeah, well, there's buoys hanging on the walls over here. So
there are. Oh, I see them. That's right.
Yeah, there. There's so, as you know, Deborah, when you paint there's so much stuff.
Yeah,
that you can definitely overdo it.
Okay, so I noticed that brush was more like a rigger type brush.
Right. Just to get some of those, thinner lines in there.
Okay, and so let's just explain to people what the rigger brush is. Why do you use it?
Well, it's very thin, and I don't know if you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're looking for those thinner lines, it really does help to use it. And in my case, from birth, I always been very, my hand shakes. So being able to put in a straight line is not always easy for me. But with the rigger, or sometimes even with a palette knife, on a big painting, I'll use a maul stick, or a brush to kind of do, like if I'm doing mass on boats, that sort of thing, because otherwise I can't get them in there straight enough.
Well, that's good to share with people, because I think a lot of people worry about that a lot, and you don't really have to worry about it.
No,
even if it's not perfect, it still looks fantastic.
Yeah, let's warm this up a little.
Also, those rigger brushes have long bristles, I guess you would call it, and they're softer, so that helps to lay on top of other.
Right, and I use it also to sign my name, because it's
me too.
Yeah, it's smaller, so it's works better.
Do you like to use any of those rubber takeaway tools at all? Do you ever do that?
Occasionally, but what's interesting right now is I have this stack of cards from hotels, because we stayed in 19 hotels recently.
Wow.
And I thought, hey, these things would be great. And so that's what I'm going to start trying to use.
How fun. That'll get you a mast or two too while you're at it. You could use you could use the side of one of those cards for a mast or a line, or
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. So now I'm going to take some of this green that I had made up earlier, put a touch of red in it to modify it. And I have added a little yellow to it. See if I can't get some of those. These are lobster traps that are sitting up against the building.
What color are lobster traps usually?
Well, that's an interesting question. It varies by fishermen.
Oh,
and
cool.
I found that out a year or so ago. I was talking to one of the guys over there, and he was showing me, not only is it the color of the wired stuff they use, they make their own, but it's also how many squares they have in each one.
Way. That is cool.
That's how they identify whose is who.
I'll be darned. So so if you happen to pick one up and put it in your car, they'll catch you.
I don't think you want to do that.
No, that's funny. I never knew they were so personal like that. That's very interesting.
Oh, personal. You don't know half of it. you
I know the buoys are like that too. Those are, you have your own colors and pattern and everything to mark your buoys, your lobster traps and such.
Yep, they do. They take it all very personal. So we're getting there anyway, but I will, I'm sure, finish this and take it to the gallery.
And so you left out the like telephone poles. Is that on purpose?
I just haven't put them in yet.
Oh, okay.
There is a pole, and that, I have a thing with poles, and it's interesting because some people don't like poles and they don't want them in there.
Yeah.
But I do like them. Here's where I, shake. But I do. I like the poles. It's a crooked pole, but and there also was a pole on the top of this building, or I think it actually was behind it. I'm not sure. I'd have to go there and look at it again to see exactly what it was.
Mm-hmm. Not that it matters. You can put it wherever you want.
Yeah, for sure. So basically, take elements, sometimes just plain elements from a scene and add it to a different scene. You know, whatever it takes to make the painting work. And I always remember Richard Schmidt always said, you do whatever it takes to make the painting work. So, you know, if something isn't there, but it's over someplace else, but it isn't in your scene, then put it in there. You know, if you want it, if it's going to make the painting work, then you put it in there. And I thought that was really a good takeaway to help. So from here, I would keep working on this and refining it, but not, you know, I have to be careful. I don't want to go overboard, but it will need, like this rim on this dory, which is what it's called, is green. And then you have some lines because it's made, these old dories are made obviously with wood and planking. So, or I'm not sure they call it planking, but
I think so.
Do they? Well, you know about boats, so I just look at them and try to paint them. I don't know anything about them. I like to write on them. So I will keep working on this, and I'll when I'm done with this, I'll post it to Facebook.
Great.
So that you can see, you know, what's happened since I worked on it on the video.
Yeah, that way we can like zoom in on it, look at all your juicy brushwork and check it all out. Okay. So what? I think I missed something. Where'd you put that little bright sparkle that's in the window of the house? It's the turquoise door.
Is that here? Oh, what? This?
On what you're working on.
Oh, here?
Yeah. What is that?
That's where I haven't covered up the paint.
Oh, it is?
But you know what? It's going to stay there.
I think it's cool. I'm trying to figure out how you did that when I wasn't looking, but
it's
you went around it,
there.
I think, and I
didn't. What you were asking about toning a canvas. If you tone your canvas, you know, don't go crazy. I know some people that tone them with just these horrible colors, but and then you end up with spots like that. Then you've got a tone coming through as opposed to that cold white. Now, this had a little tone on it, like I said, because I had wiped out, you know, some of that transparent oxide red. But it's interesting because years ago, Clyde Espavig, I don't know if you know who he is, but he's a great landscape painter. Yeah. He said he always was striving to get those little spots like that in his paintings, and they never were there. He couldn't make them happen. They just happen. So, oh, interesting. I thought that was interesting. So you're smart enough to leave it alone. Don't fix it, right? Right. Yeah, leave it alone. Lovely, happy thing. Good. Cool. So on the last note is the thicker the paint gets, it will create its own shadows. Love it. Next time you go to a museum, look at some of the paintings you love, you know, maybe the Impressionist paintings that have a lot of thick paint, and you'll notice that artists deliberately knew how to put in the paint in the direction that would allow for shadows. Which is really fun. You know, it's fun to look at all that stuff. It is. I was just in, some of you saw on Facebook, I was just in the Phillips collection in Washington, D.C., where there's a Bonnard show. And his paintings are just filled with that kind of stuff. Love it. Nice one. I know. I need a better setup. Well, I'm just loving your thick paint and your bold strokes and your clean color and all that stuff. Just so fun. Thank you. Really beautiful. So what about that purple shadow stroke that's in the middle of the road there, just sitting there all by itself? You're going to mess that up, or how do that one? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we can do something with that. Connected it. I think it feels better now. It's not so lonely. Yeah, it's not so lonely.
might be the shadow of a pole or something too. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. You
doesn't matter.
When you paint sometimes and you get back and you look and you go, oh, I didn't mean that, but hey, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'll just keep that in there.
So when you sign it, do you like to sign it in the lighter area, the darker area, or does it?
It varies.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on if I don't want it to distract from the painting. A lot of times it depends on that, where I end up putting it.
Where do you think you'd put it on this one?
Probably in the dark area.
Yeah. We have people from all over the world watching this beautiful painting come together, Ann Larsen.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. You guys should go to Ann Larsen's website right now and check it out. It's ANNLARSEN.com. Beautiful paintings. And can't wait to paint together with you again sometime soon.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, we'll be out. I don't know when, but we'll be there. I'm supposed to be coming out to teach for Carmel.
Oh, I'm going there. Yeah, soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're doing that in May, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. If I do, I'll look you up.
Please do. You can't come this way without giving me a shout out.
I definitely will.
Wander over to a boatyard or something.
Yeah, absolutely. The last time we painted together, I wasn't too thrilled with what I did. So next time.
Yeah.
And I did take your advice, though, and bought one of those Edge Pro easels.
Oh, cool.
And I do like it.
Yeah. Well, there's so many wonderful different easels and brushes and paints.
There are.
I want to have one of everything, I think.
It is. It's amazing how much stuff is out there for artists. We're awfully lucky.
We are. So, Ann, I think it's time for us to say so long here. You're about done. Do you want to give us a little summary?
Well, I would say, don't be wedded to an image. Enjoy it. Keep your palette simple in color. Keep your composition simple, and you'll be a lot happier.
And have fun.
And fun is the most important part. Definitely.
Yeah, take the stress out of your spirit and just let yourself free.
Yes, absolutely. So.
Well, it's been absolutely wonderful, Ann. Thank you
thank you
very much. We've really
thank you. I've enjoyed it.
We've really enjoyed your time and your expertise. So thank you a million. Okay, much love to you. See you soon.
Okay. Yeah, Deborah, for sure.
Thank you, Ann. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We
have more stuff to give away, thanks to Eric and his team. Be sure and go to AnnLarsen.com, though, ANNLARSEN.com. And my website is DeborahHughes.com, DeborahHuse.com. And check us out. Check out our paintings and all of our goodies. And we want to give away, though, another one of these 97 art secrets. Boy, Eric and his team have so many secrets saved up from all the artists that they've worked with over the years. And so all you have to do, and it's free, all you have to do is go download the free ebook, go to 97artsecrets.com/free. It's right there on the screen. Take a screenshot and go get yourself this really great book. And we also want you to be sure to subscribe to Art School Live on YouTube, because that way you won't miss a single thing. And check out Eric Rhodes and follow him on Instagram. And I always watch live on Facebook too. I can't decide where to watch it live, but you gotta check it out. And you can go back to YouTube later and watch all of the shows too, forever and ever, I think. I'm not sure, but also coming up, we have Plein Air Convention Expo in the Great Smoky Mountains. And I'll be there along with lots of your favorite artists. We'll be there to teach and help you paint. It's a total blast. There's only a few seats left, so you want to sign up as soon as you can at pleinairconvention.com/ASL. And boy, we're going to have so much fun. You'll get to go out and paint a location. You'll get to go in and out of a whole bunch of fabulous demos by all of your favorite artists and get a little bit of information from each one. And you'll meet lots of new people and have a wonderful time. So only a few seats left. So grab one. And then we also wanted to share with you the videos that I've been lucky enough to do with Streamline and PaintTube TV. And the first one is called Impressionism. And an hour and a half maybe, or 2 hours of, so we have so much fun. They actually come out on my boat. They, we totally went to the beach, and we really talked about these regattas and the boats on the water, how to get warms and tones into your paintings that are not just blues and grays, how to, like Anne, throw in some color here and there, have some freedom with your strokes. Don't get too married to your painting. And I actually make up those downward reflection in the water just to add to the painting. I make up the clouds. I'll show you how to think about all that kind of stuff, and brushwork, and how to scoop it up and lay it down nice and thick too. And then the impressionistic brushwork CD, we're actually on location. Well, when I painted this, I was on location in Easton, Oxford, Maryland. And this is an old historic shipyard where it's half in shadow and half in sun. So we talk about that. We talk about lettering, which is fantastic. We get to share how to add a figure into your painting, how to deal with that complicated boatyard that's behind there, the harbor scene, so it doesn't, conflict with what it is you're painting. So there's so many things to share, and we have so much fun. So I hope you'll check out my videos at painttube.tv/ASL. So many things to share. And we really, as artists, we love to hear what other people do and what ideas that they have. And I hope today you really learned to set yourself free and to look at your subject as only inspiration, and then go ahead and create something from your heart and have a wonderful time doing it. So that's all of our advice today. And we love you. And goodbye from Southern California. See you next time.